Hi, Tom. How are you?
Hello, Natalia. I'm very good today. It's nice to be talking with you.
Yeah, I'm so thrilled that you agreed to do this, to introduce yourself to other fellows across the country in our Meet This Fellow edition of the newsletter that we have. So thanks so much for doing this. Really appreciate it.
And thanks to you for doing the newsletter. That's a big undertaking.
Appreciate it. Well, we have a lot of fun with it, and including interviews like this. So thank you. So I wanted to start off and kick off you telling other fellows what sort of and who maybe inspired you to become a fellow.
Oh, Arnie Rutkin up in Connecticut, George Stern down in Atlanta. George has passed away, but they were big influences. And Richard Berry, who was president of the Academy and president of the California chapter, Northern California chapter, is retired up in Washington now. They were the people I looked up to back in 1993 when I became a fellow.
Wow. And since then, since 1993, can you tell everybody sort of, what you enjoy most about being a part of the Academy?
Interacting with the fellows and their spouses and their children. Being involved in the Academy has been very uplifting. We work in the water of our local courts, and we interact with our local attorneys and experts and clients. But there's something it's always been stimulating and rewarding to me about working with attorneys from other parts of the country, and not necessarily on litigation, but working on improving the practice, socializing. I remember back in 1993, the first national meeting I went to, I didn't know anybody. My wife and I were both very apprehensive and about it. And, coincidentally at our table was Jocelyn Davis and her husband, Fred. Jocelyn later became a president of the Academy. And after a year or two or three of going to meetings, being in the Academy felt very comfortable.
And so since then, since sort of meeting, key leadership figures in the Academy and since the 90s, what sort of roles have you taken on over the years in the Academy? If you could tell the fellows so they get to know who you are and what the Academy means to you.
My favorite role was working on the editorial board of the Academy Journal. I started on the board in 2006, I think it was. And then I was editor-in-chief from 2010 to 2012. And Madeline was kind enough to ask me to come back and be the editor again in 2018 through 2020. And the editorial board of the journal is a dozen, now it's up to 15 fellows from all across the country. And routinely, people on the board have told me that being on the board was the best part of the Academy because we were able to brainstorm. Nobody ever had a fight about who was going to be, first among equals. And it was also a pleasure to work with the executive director, Professor Mary Kay Kistart at the University of Missouri, Kansas City School of Law. Mary Kay has done a lot of things for the Academy, from the best practices committee to writing the book with Joan Kelly, What Do We Tell the Children, and raising the consciousness of fellows about helping their clients who are parents in divorcing broach the subject of divorce to their children. It's just been, so that was really a big highlight. Another highlight is working on the foundation. I've been involved with the foundation since 2007, and coming together to raise a lot of money for a really good purpose, because the grants from the foundation go out to support programs that help children and families going through the crucible of divorce. And I think this year, when I started back in 2007, the grants were pretty meager, around 35,000. This year, the grants are going to be $250,000.
Yeah. It's an exciting time. Yeah.
It's been really, really good. Good. It's left me feeling happier than I would have had I not been part of increasing the gifts that the foundation can make over the years. I hold out for the day when the foundation is going to give away $1 million a year.
Yeah, we want to see that happen. And you and I met you for my first time at a mid-year meeting, and you and your wife were so welcoming, and can't thank you enough for that. But then also, joining you on the board of the foundation has just kind of re-emphasized in the same ways that you highlighted how important the Academy is, and the work that the charitable arm of the Academy does. It's pretty amazing.
And I have to credit my wife, Kathy, for pointing out to me that how hard it was, or how scary it was in 1993 to consider that how we were going to blend in. And she's been an inspiration to me. And there's innumerable spouses, Pat McLaren, Madeline Marzano, Lesnovich's husband, Walter. I want to thank those people, the spouses who have encouraged and enabled fellows to get to know each other on a personal level, and to come together to do good educationally, good for other fellows, and good for the foundation and the people the foundation helps. It's a great team that gets formed, not just fellows, but their spouses.
Yeah, so now that we've been living in this pandemic, meetings have been canceled, but we're looking forward to November, all coming together and having our in-person meeting, annual meeting. I guess I want to know, and I want you to share with fellows, what do you think for you would be the first activity you can't wait to do once we're through this and maybe to normal in the world?
I'm looking forward to the gathering at the mid-year meeting in Indian Wells that Carrie Mogerman has put together. I certainly look forward to the Wednesday night gathering in Chicago to kick off the annual meeting. Just rubbing elbows and connecting is very important. And then that's also very important to the dinners that fellows go to with a small group of maybe 4 couples, 6 couples after the Academy events, and being able, we have my favorite restaurants in Chicago. We love to go to Shaw's Crab Shack, Joe's Stone Crab, and the steakhouses have changed over time, but Shaw's and Joe's remain constant. And going back to those places is just with other fellows and their spouses is just a real highlight.
Yeah. So I wonder if you could also let's talk a little bit about your family law practice out in California. I know you had a trial this week, and you and I chatted a little bit about what that was like, and the challenges of a virtual remote hearing, and then also a litigant representing themselves. But I wonder if you could just share with other fellows, what would you say in your years of practice is the biggest misconception that you've experienced as a family lawyer?
I don't know if it's the biggest misconception or the biggest disappointment,
Okay.
but it's the inability to affect positive change. It's very as I've grown more experienced, I don't want to say older, but more experienced, because this is now my 48th year of practicing law. The ability to see the big picture increases. And if you're, 74, 48 years of experience, I'm working with someone who's 50 and no family law experience, no divorce experience. Their perception of what's going on is very different than mine. And I so much want to say, look, this is a, you don't want to go there. You want to do this. And it's very hard to get, and maybe I'm not a good persuader, to get people to understand.
I doubt that very seriously.
I was looking at a case today where the fees are high, and there's a lot of lawyers involved. It's a fairly big estate. But the answers to me, the solutions to me are very clear. But maybe divorce is sort of like falling in love. When you fall in love, you're singing, you want to put ketchup in the refrigerator. You're maybe not thinking about what that relationship's going to be in 20 years. Because you're so sure that it's going to be wonderful in 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Last forever.
Last forever. Forever is not long enough.
Yeah.
And I want to be married to you for longer. But the opposite of that is when you get into conflict with someone you love, some of the brain cells shut down. I don't know if it's the prefrontal cortex or what it is. And just as you tend to think of things as, oh, it's always going to be this way, or I'm never going to recover, or I'm never going to get this money back, or I have to win. And those thoughts get in the way of reaching a practical solution. And not being able to explain that to people, not be able to move them from a 50-year-old's state of mind to a 75-year-old's state of mind is frustrating. I would like to have that control, but she has kept that power from me.
Well, I mean, the other thing that I think folks who are listening and hopefully watching this video want to know is what's the best piece of advice you've received in all of those 48 years of practice? What would you say the single most or best advice that you've been given is?
I used to backpack a lot, and the backpacker's prayer applies to the practice of family law. And the backpacker's prayer is, God, if you'll pick them up, I'll put them down. So when your feet get tired, you just ask God to pick up those feet, to pick up your feet. And so perseverance, showing up, continuing to work, to aspire to do better work every day, to aspire to help people more every day. Show up, keep trying, and aspire to do better. Is the best advice I got.
That's definitely very, very sound advice. And I will tell you that I can't wait to keep going and pick up where we left off last year before COVID and seeing everybody in person. And looking forward to it, and hope you'll be there in November. And if not, we'll see you at mid-year. But so great to see and chat with you today, Tom. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And I really appreciate all your contributions to the Academy, and also serving on the Foundation Board of Directors. You bring wonderful new ideas to both groups.
Yeah, well, we got a great team, and everybody is, keep pushing each other and inspiring each other. So again, thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it.
All right. And my best wishes go out to you and to all the fellows and their spouses, their significant others, and their children.
Okay. Have a good one, Tom. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.